Now, in Korea, another controversy emerges from the government and the ruling party. The administration said it's going to push for the relocation of Korea's capital from Seoul to Sejong City. Sejong meant to become the new capital of Korea back in the early 2000s. But in 2004, the attempt to move Korea's capital was ruled unconstitutional. The Constitutional Court said that under our constitutional convention, Seoul is the capital of Korea. The new plan to relocate the capital came amid rising criticisms towards the current administration for skyrocketing apartment prices in Seoul. Proponents of the relocation say that Seoul's high housing cost is caused by the dense population. So moving the capital, along with considerable number of population to Sejong, will help stabilize the housing prices in Seoul. The public opinion is split. While opinion polls show that those in favor of the relocation slightly outnumber those who aren't, opponents say that the decision is politically motivated, as the ruling party and government attempt to sidestep the public criticism about the administration's failure to curb the rising apartment prices. As it was ruled unconstitutional already, a revision of the Constitution should precede any attempt to relocate the capital city. The issue is likely to take the center stage of Korea's public opinion and politics for the time being. The government exodus will push development to the countryside. The issue is the concentration of the population of Seoul and the surrounding areas. So in the first sentence, I said the government exodus will push development to the countryside. So Exodus is a chapter in the Bible when the Jews left Egypt towards the Sinai Peninsula, a large number of them. But we use Exodus now when a large group of people go from one place to another. So, for example, in New York City, the crime rate is very high now, so they're seeing an exodus of citizens. Also, let's say you work at a company and the company's not doing very well, there will be an exodus outside of the company or an exodus to their competitor. To boost economic and regional development to other parts of the nation, the capital should be relocated. Right now, the government is centralized in one area. So the last part I talk about centralized. So you have centralized and decentralized. So if something is centralized, it's either put in one area, but then if you decentralize it, you would take government offices and put them and spread them out all over Seoul. Also, you can use it in business English. So for example, if you work for a foreign company and every decision you have to make goes through the headquarters. So if you want to hire somebody, you want to spend some money, your budgets, everything has to be approved by the headquarters. That's a very centralized business. But if it's decentralized, that means each branch or subsidiary has a lot of power. They can make their own hiring decisions, they can spend money on advertising and don't have to get approval. So we talk about a centralized organization or decentralized organization. Moving the capital will spread out the population of Korea, which in turn will help bring down the housing prices in Seoul. So I said moving the capital will spread out the population. So you're taking a concentration and you're spreading it out. Then I said which in turn means it's kind of the effect. It's a good transition. So if you have something cause and effect, your transition phrase can be which in turn will help bring down the housing prices in Seoul. In order to stem the rising home prices, the government needs to reduce the population of the city by moving down south. So to stem, you have to think of like a plant or the base of a plant. So you have the roots and then the stem, and a stem is usually very thin. So to stem the rising home prices means to kind of make it smaller. So you can stem the flow of money, or like we recently had the floods here in Korea. We need to stem the flow of the rivers so they don't overflow. And then finally, I said moving down south. So moving down south is just kind of a relative term of direction we use in English. So if you say let's say you live in New York, you want to move down south, that can mean anywhere. It can mean New Jersey, it can mean Atlanta, Georgia, but it means you want to get out of the city. And then we also use moving up north and then moving out east or moving out west. So moving down south, up north, out east, or out west. So if they were going to have the capital city out in Yangyang, you would say, oh, they're moving out east. The cost of living is high in Seoul due to external factors outside of real estate, like transportation, jobs, and cultural factors. Slightly reducing the population will not change the price of housing. So in the first one, I said the cost of living is high in Seoul. So when we talk about the cost of living, that includes everything from how much you pay for your home, groceries, gas, transportation, subway costs. So if you're looking at the cost of living in different cities, it can be more expensive and cheaper based on all those factors. It will be a futile effort to move the government workers out of the city. Seoul residents have hedged their bets by buying apartments in the city where real estate prices almost never go down. So first I said it'll be a futile effort to move the government workers. So if something's futile means you can try to do something, but there'll be absolutely no results. It's going to fail. It's not going to work. So if someone says your efforts are futile, means even if you try, you're not going to succeed. And then finally I said Seoul residents have hedged their bets by buying apartments in the city. So to hedge your bet means, let's say you're going to make an investment and you're going to spend, let's say, $10 on your investment. But you think it's going to go up. But if it goes down, you want to place maybe $3 on another investment. So if your initial investment goes down, your other investment will go up. So you might break even or not lose as much money. So for example, let's say in Daechidong in Gangnam, by buying an apartment there, you've hedged your bets, because even if the Seoul prices go down, that's where all the good hagwons are and best education system is. So in that area, even though it's more expensive, the price of the housing will never go down because people will always want to live there. So even if you bought a house in Seoul, you've kind of hedged your bets and secured your real estate investment. The announcement to move the capital is a political distraction. The ploy is to draw the public's attention away from the policies that did not stop the increase in property values. So in that second part, I said the ploy is to draw the public's attention away. So a ploy is like a plan or a scheme that will have advantage for one party, but not for the other. So what we're saying here is that they made a mistake in the past, so they want to cover up a mistake by making this new plan. So that's kind of a ploy. And I said it's to draw the public's attention away from the policies. So while everyone's blaming the government, they've come up with this new idea. They're like, hey, look over here. And they're taking their attention away from their past failures and trying to show, hey, we're going to do something different. Please don't be angry with us. The relocation of the government is a publicity stunt to distract from the government's inability to control the housing market. So first I said it's a publicity stunt. Now, a publicity stunt is used by politicians, celebrities, mostly by companies to advertise a product. So for example, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, there was the Red Bull space jump where a guy took a balloon up into space and jumped out and parachuted to Earth. But it was all sponsored by Red Bull. So it's a stunt to bring attention to Red Bull. He didn't drink a Red Bull. He just wore their clothes. And then, for example, publicity stunt is for celebrities. Let's say you have two somewhat unknown celebrities. But if they get married, the media will cover that story. And a year later, they get divorced. But since the media already covered the story, they become more famous. So it was almost a publicity stunt for them. So even if this doesn't work, it will show that the government is at least trying to do something or show that they're doing something. So that's what we call a publicity stunt. And I said it will distract from the government's inability to control the housing market. Now, inability is a great word. It's a noun for something you can't do. So like they said, the government's inability to control the housing market means they cannot control the housing market. It means they are not able to, but we use inability as a noun. And ability is also a noun to do something, but inability means you can't do something. Thanks, guys. And you can shoot me an email at feurey@gmail.com. Also, please check out the Konglish Killer book. It's on all major bookstores. Bye-bye.